So I've had some questions on Farming Simulator 25 about how to prepare the soil. You got all these different things to pick from, from cultivators to different types of plows, subsoilers, shallow cultivators, disc harrows, spaders, power harrows. What the heck's the difference, and how do you pick what to use? So stick around. I'm going to show you some hints on this and what they mean and what their differences are. Okay, we're going to start here with plows, and that's the main category. The two main categories I'm going to look at are plows and cultivators, but all these other things fall in those two categories. Okay, so we'll start with a basic plow. Now when you plow, if you have plowing turned on in the game under settings and stones turned on, I'm assuming those things are turned on. Okay, so if you have plowing turned on, this is a plow right here. By the way, all these things that I have here, I can pull with this medium-sized tractor. Okay, so there's some smaller ones and there's some bigger ones, and this is middle-of-the-road stuff for these items. Okay, so here's a plow here. You need 210 horsepower to pull it. All right, so with plows, they're generally slower than types of cultivators, but they have some advantages. One, if you plow with this thing, it doesn't have weeds. Okay, there's no weeds the next day. And you can also use this type of plow to create a field. And if you have plowing turned on regular crops like grains and such that aren't root crops, you have to plow every third harvest to keep your yield up. And if you look at your soil conditions there, it will be red. It will say it needs plowing if you have plowing turned on. So every third harvest on those crops. On root crops, if you have plowing turned on, you got to plow every time. After every harvest, you're going to have to plow those, because plows go down deep, and you got to dig up those roots, and you use a plow for that. Now, when I say a plow, it could be a plow, it could be a spader, like here, that's a spader, or it could be a subsoiler. Okay, all those fall into the plow category, but there are some differences over the basic plow. Okay, and I'm going to look at those specifics. So a basic plow like this, you get small stones, you can use it to create fields, it has no weeds after you do it. This is a spader. Okay, it satisfies the plow requirement. It's going to give you small stones. You cannot use it to create fields, and it does have weeds after it. So you will have to use either herbicide or a weeder after you plant. And then a subsoiler, much like a plow or much like a spader, it satisfies the plowing requirement, but you're going to have large stones. You do have weeds, and you cannot use it to create a field. And those are the three basic types of things that satisfy that plow requirement, so you can go on and get the plow bonus on your crops. Okay, the next category over here is cultivators. And that includes several things. You got regular cultivators, shallow cultivators, disc harrows, power harrows, and then there's on the end there's a direct sowing machine, and we'll look at those. So this first cultivator here, okay, this is a normal cultivator. After you use that, you're going to have normal weeds. You're going to have small stones. They are faster, though, than plows. Okay, regular cultivators faster than plows. This particular one, you need 180 horsepower to pull it, and it goes 9 miles an hour, and it's 5 meters wide. Okay, the next one here is a shallow cultivator. Okay, a shallow cultivator. Shallow cultivator is going to give you more weeds. So instead of a regular weeder, you're going to need to use a hoe, or you're going to need to spray herbicide right after you plant. Okay, now the good news is it doesn't produce any stones if you don't want stones and you have those turned on. If you want them, you want to use another piece of equipment if you're collecting them for a concrete plant or something. Okay, this particular one is, you need 190 horsepower. It goes 9 miles an hour, 7.5 wide. So it's faster than this thing. Okay, faster than that. And that's a shallow cultivator. This next one here is a disc harrow. It's very similar to a shallow cultivator. and you have bigger weeds, so you'd have to use a hoe. You don't get stones, and you just have to look at the horsepower requirement. It's 150 horsepower for this. It goes 11 miles an hour, 4.5 meters wide. Okay, so it's very similar to a shallow cultivator. That's a disc harrow. And this little guy here is a power harrow. A power harrow. They also produce larger weeds, so you have to use a hoe. Doesn't produce stones, and generally they're not as fast. This one you need 115 horsepower to pull it. It goes 7 miles an hour, and it's 3 meters wide. And then finally, you have something that's a direct seeder, direct sowing machine. I like this puppy. And what it allows you to do, it has a cultivator on the front and a seeder on the back. Okay, so it does both. And this particular thing is 4 meters wide. It goes 11 miles an hour. And this one also fertilizes. So it can cultivate, seed, and fertilize in one pass. So that's certainly an advantage in some situations. Now, as you get to the bigger ones, though, they may not do that. So sometimes what I like to do, if you use AI, if you planted, say you planted oats, and you plant those in the spring and you don't harvest them till later in the summer, you have plenty of time to get that field cultivated. Okay. However, if you're doing canola and you harvest that in July, and you got to plant it again in August, the next month, you're going to have to cultivate that, same month and plant it the next month, be ready to go in 1 month. So in that case, one of these puppies might be better off for you. Okay. So that's it. One of the cool things about Farming Simulator is you get to decide how you want to do your farm and which of these you want to use. Some people like disc harrows, some like shallow cultivators, some just want to plow every time so they don't have to mess with weeds, or you could turn weeds off. So there's different ways to do it and accomplish the same end goal, and that's what makes the game interesting for all of us. So that's it. I'm Farmer Teacher. I had some questions on this. Just want to get it out there. And if you like this, share this with your farming buddies. I'll see you on the next go round. Bye-bye.